and welcome to Season 3 of Forbes India Pathbreakers with me, Neha Bothra. This is a show where we bring you voices of disruptors and pioneers. My guest today is Meena Bindra, the founder of Biba. She started the business with a bank loan of 8,000 rupees and has built it into one of the most popular brands in the country. We'll talk to her about her journey, her ups and downs, and her advice for young entrepreneurs. Stay tuned to the conversation. Hello Meena, so good to have you on Pathbreakers. Welcome.
Hello Neha, thank you for having me.
You are so well dressed. Were you always the fashionista in the family, even as a teenager? Every family has one style icon.
Well, not really. It was my older sister who was the fashionista. She was the stylist. So we got a tailor at home to do work. She was always guiding us.
And you started your business in 1988. You called it Biba.
In Punjab, it's referred to a young pretty girl or in term of endearment. So I thought I'm making Punjabi suits. So why not take a Punjabi connotation and yet a very modern feel.
From being a housewife to think about becoming an entrepreneur. What inspired you?
So what really propelled me towards business was I was free, my children were grown up, I had a lot of time and I wanted to earn a little extra money. My husband was with the government and he had a fixed income. So to see the boys through the boarding and their good education, extra money would have helped. So I thought I'll earn that money, but I wasn't particularly qualified. I was married for 18 years, just a graduate. So I thought it won't be easy to get a job. So I'll do something on my own from the house. I had 2-3 exhibitions earlier. They did very well. So I thought I'll do something with clothes only.
And the idea of doing an entire line of ethnic wear came about.
I thought if I get a little money, I'll buy fabric, get some suits tailored and try my luck, see how it goes. So that was how it started.
I'm told you didn't have a bank account.
No,
How did you manage to secure the bank loan of 8,000 rupees?
Well, my husband chipped in. I asked him to try and get me a loan. He wasn't very happy. He looked a bit skeptical. But after a fortnight, he informed me that I've got you a loan of 8,000 rupees. And of course, he gave me a lot of advice.
Sure.
That don't lose this money and you'll discover how difficult it is to earn money. I said, sure, I'll try and prove you wrong. But that's how it started.
You did tell me that you came from a business family. Did that rub off?
I'm sure it helped because I had those business genes.
Yes.
And I probably knew how to manage money. I mean, I knew that if you do business, you have to make profit. that much I knew. So the goal was always to make good profit. Work hard and make profit. That's what I did.
Can you trace or recall, if you remember, the first order that you executed?
Well, I had a small exhibition. That was the first order.
All right.
I got about 30 suits ready and then I had an exhibition where I called my naval friends, I put stickers in the building. So a few ladies came, all the suits were sold off.
Sure.
And I got a lot of orders. So that was a very heady experience and I was very excited.
What was the big turning point?
Well, the stock kept increasing because I kept putting the money back.
Sure.
Whatever I earned, so my stock from 40 suits, it became 100, became 200, 400, 500 because the money was constantly and the turnover was very fast.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to make the suits in a month or 15 days,
Yeah.
and they were selling. So it was like really fast making, selling, and increasing the stock.
Did you have anyone to help you with designing at that time?
No,
You were designing it
everything I
all.
was doing.
All right.
Selling, designing, conceptualizing, going to the market, buying the fabric, handling the customers, going to the block printing factory,
All
getting
right.
the printing done, plus managing a household and a husband
Amazing.
and children.
This was not the Google age where everything was there available at the click of.
Nothing was available, no internet, no reference points. So there were a couple of books available on Indian costumes, and so I bought those, got some ideas. And the block printing factory had a lot of beautiful blocks. So that helped a lot because there was a whole treasure of blocks. So I would go and spend the whole day at the factory, try various blocks, various colors. Fortunately, I had a very good printer. He was a
Alright.
young boy, educated, and it was their family business. So he was equally enthusiastic, and we would go on trying new things, tie-dye and block printing. I would say the one good break I had was the wholesale. One of my friends or customer, she said, I'll take your suits and show it to a boutique.
Okay.
So she took about 12 suits, took it to a boutique, and by the time they opened the suits and hung them, they were all sold. So that
Alright.
was my first brush with the wholesale. Later on, lot more boutiques opened, and they all heard about me.
So it was word of mouth marketing. You
Yes,
weren't exactly spending on marketing per
No,
se.
that was a totally alien concept. I didn't think marketing was required because I never did it. People just kept coming. Then Benzer opened.
Do you know you are credited as the woman who revolutionized the ethnic wear space in India?
Well, I could probably take part of the compliment because salwar kameez was not known. But it became a pan-India dress because my suits were very affordable. They were functional, they were well designed. Every strata of society could afford to buy them. And that's how this spread so fast. A working woman, a middle class woman, you know, an artist, everyone could afford to buy. Industrialist wife, they also flocked to come and buy these. So the price was a very practical. They were pleasantly surprised when they heard the price. My initial pricing was about 190 for a beautifully well made printed cotton suit. So that made it very popular.
And I think there was also a gap in the market. There was no ready to wear salwar kameez concept as such.
Yeah, it helped, and it was trendy. And women who were used to wearing sari only suddenly felt liberated. They felt very young, they felt trendy. So it just caught on. And down south, which is so conservative, even they accepted salwar kameez as an alternate to sari. That's how it became a pan-India. I mean, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. In 3 years, 4 years, it became an alternate to sari.
So 3-4 years after you launched Biba, you were a nationwide phenomenon.
Maybe a bit exaggeration. But yeah, there is some element of truth in it. Because I had people coming from Coimbatore, from all these places. Somebody would open a small boutique, come and buy. So obviously, it was spreading.
What were the challenges you had to overcome to do so? I'm sure there would have been several odds.
Yes, they were. Like at one time, Benzer was 60% of my business. I was so dependent on their orders.
Sure.
And one day they gave me a ultimatum. there was another store in Bombay, similar to Benzer, called Sheetal, and they were also buying from me. So they said, either you give us or you give to Sheetal, or you can't give to anyone in Bombay. So you have 3 days to decide. Now they were my major business, and how do I decide in 3 days? So that was a very tough decision for me. But I said, no, I'll walk out. I don't want anyone dictating terms to me. So I did face a lot of challenges. A lot of the stock that was in production were their orders, and I had the financial crunch. They stopped all my payments, which were due. So 6 months it was a bit tough.
How did you turn the corner?
Well, the other shops helped. They bought probably a little more and paid me a little faster so that I could pay.
You started with 2 tailors from your home. How did you keep pace with the growth of the business in terms of getting the supply chain in place, in terms of getting the distribution in place? And this was all unorganized retail largely.
Well, to me, they are sounding very heavy words. At that time, I didn't think of it as distribution, as people were coming to my house and they were just selecting and buying.
Sure.
They'll buy 100 suits, 80 suits for their boutique. So you can call it distribution, but it was just happening. Yeah, so it was growing and I was handling it myself.
In a way, you've also been part of the beginning and the growth phase of the entire organized retail story in India.
When organized retail started in early 90s, 91, 92, Shoppers Stop was the first store to open. So they also approached me on their own. When you are dealing with a large store, you also automatically become more disciplined.
Yeah.
They wanted to see the range 6 months earlier, fully ready so that they could order it. So I wasn't used to working like that, but then I molded myself. I got used to getting a full summer range ready or a winter range ready. Call the buyers, show it to them. By that time I had a lot of buyers who used to come from all over India,
Sure.
place their orders. So that's how slowly it started getting into a more organized way of functioning.
Now Biba is a household name.
Yes, the actual major turning point came in 2004. That's when we realized that we must start building our own brand and start opening our own stores.
Sure.
Till then we were wholesalers. We were supplying to Shoppers, Lifestyle, Pantaloon, all the big multi-brand stores. It was a large business that was very transformational. We opened our first 2 stores in Mumbai, and from there we never looked back. Then we kept opening wherever we found an opportunity. So second year we opened 16 stores. Then the number kept growing because more malls were coming up. So we were also riding the wave.
Riding the retail boom in India.
And learning it on the way.
What were some important learnings?
Customer focus, I think, is very important. You have to be very sensitive to the customer. So even when I was working from the house, I never treated them as someone who's buying. I would take things back after 6 months also if they were not happy. So the customer had a lot of trust. So they used to feel, let's buy, we'll see later. She's not worried about taking it back. I still had the service class mindset. So if someone bought 5, 6 suits, I'll say, I think it's enough for a day. They loved it, you know, because they didn't feel I was trying to sell to them. So that was a sense of trust they had in me.
Biba is also known for a very distinct design, the focus on quality, the focus on details. And being contemporary while being Indian, this was something very unique about Biba.
Yeah.
How have you maintained that over the years?
See, we follow the trends all the time. What is the latest, what's happening. Yet we stick to the Indian roots. So whatever we make, the silhouettes may be Western or Indo-Western, but it still has a Indian kind of, maybe the print, maybe the sensibilities, the colors.
Typically, the perception is that women are risk averse. You have gone against it in so many ways. Are you someone who likes to take risk?
Sometimes you are pushed and you have to decide. So you don't know what the outcome is. Like I told you about Benza. I mean, I didn't want to break off, but I had no choice. So I took the risk of breaking off, which proved to be the right decision. But sometimes, yeah, you want to try something new, which hasn't been tried, and that's the risk. So we tried a lot of new things, and they worked.
Over the years, Biba has also got into selling footwear and handbags.
And perfume.
Perfumes.
Our perfumes are doing well. They are really good. I've switched over to our own perfumes. And our latest is we've gone in for wedding edit.
All right.
So from absolutely casual, we added different categories along the journey. We added mix and match, then we added kids wear, then we added semi-formal and formal. Now we are adding wedding edit. So it's heavy clothes for the bride and her friends for wedding functions. So we just tried a small capsule collection in 35 stores. The results were very encouraging. So we are going ahead with.
Are you still the creative powerhouse at Biba?
Well, I don't know powerhouse, but I do try and design and overlook, give my feedback. We have a large team of designers, but I still do a small capsule, which is the classics as we call them.
All right.
There are people who still like that look.
You had no template to follow really. This was all very much driven by instinct and your personal taste as well.
Yes, you're right. There were no models to follow. We were the first ones. In a lot of things, Biba has been the first one.
Yes.
We didn't follow anyone. People followed us.
You were trendsetters. The whole category, in a way, was established by Biba in the organized retail space.
Yes.
Now, when you look
back, I
back,
could say that Biba was the first one. Like we started a shop-in-shop model. A shop-in-shop model is when in a large store they give you a space and you manage it. Earlier, the shops used to buy outright.
yeah,
And it was their headache to sell it. So their teams would come 3 months in advance, place orders for the whole season and buy it. But we felt that we are not doing justice to it. Because sometimes the good designs would sell, but they would not replenish them because they had done their shopping. So we suggested to them that why don't you give us the space and we'll manage it. We'll keep our staff. So shoppers was willing to try, though they wanted a very heavy maximum guarantee,
all right.
which didn't seem feasible, but we still felt let's try it. So initially we were losing money, but then we caught up as we understood retail better, and then that became the model everyone followed. So that became the norm. That
You are a marketing genius, Meena.
Well, this was my son who thought of it.
When did your son join the business?
I have 2 sons. The older one joined in 87.
All right. So they were helping you with the financial management, the
Yes,
marketing.
Yeah.
And you were focusing on the
on the
designs
design.
and the...
But for 10 years, I was alone. I was doing it on my
Sure.
own.
In Pathbreakers, I have so often interviewed father and son duos. To have the mother as a founder and a son taking over and encouraging for so many women out there.
And I think mothers interfere less than the fathers. So the sons, in my opinion, they are lucky if the partner is a mother. She's softer and
She's more giving.
more giving than a father. Father would be strict.
The patriarch tends to not let go of the control
Yeah.
as long as he
Yeah.
can. Was
But
it the same
in
with
my
you?
case, I was very happy to let go.
Yeah.
I said, now they are the ones who are running it, let them make their own mistakes, let them learn.
This is such a different approach. Typically, most fathers want to be there as long as they can, managing small details, and because they feel like the business is their child and it's so hard to let go.
No,
You
in my
as a
case,
mother,
it's the opposite. I was quite happy. I said, I love designing, I'll focus on designing. And yeah, but we did a lot of new things, which in the salwar kameez, I think where business, these things were unheard of. Then the first times a foreign investor invested in an Indian
Warburg
brand.
Pincus.
We had an earlier investor in Mr. Kishore Biani of Future Brands. He was invested for 6 years and he wanted to leave. So when the news came into the market that Mr. Biani is leaving and he wants to sell his share, we got so many offers. Now at that time, nobody thought that anybody will invest in a salwar kameez. And that also a big brand like Warburg, that means you are of some value. So the whole retail industry looked up, and their aspirations also grew. They also wanted people to invest. Lot of them got funding also. So we were the first one to start the ball rolling.
Kishore Biani is known as the king of retail.
Retail.
What were some things about the retail business that you learned from him?
Well, he was always ready to take risks. And he's the one who started us off on the movie merchandise.
Yes.
Because he made a movie called Na Tum Jano Na Hum. Hrithik Roshan and Isha Deol. The movie unfortunately didn't do well, but the clothes we made of the movie did very well. He was always there as a good advisor.
There was a lot of skepticism about taking money from a foreign investor. Of course, there was the upside where you could grow faster, but the downside was always the fear about losing control, about ceding control. How has your relationship with Warburg Pincus panned out over the years?
We've had the best of relation with them. They've been one of the best partners, very supportive, never pushing us or throwing their weight, always giving us right advice. Of course, they didn't have the controlling rights, but yes, I didn't find, we never had a disagreement.
They continue to be with Biba till date.
Yeah, we've never found them overstepping, or when we want advice, they give us their opinion.
Sure.
And sometimes they introduce us to people if we need, some introduction. They have been the best partners we could have wanted.
In fact, they even advised you to list on the stock exchanges.
Yeah.
That plan did not take off.
Yeah.
What's the current development on that front?
We are waiting and seeing.
The plan is on hold
Yeah.
for market conditions to improve?
Well, I think market, and we are also trying out a lot of new things like wedding edit, this, lot of plans to go global. So all that, after all that is done, maybe.
Meena, would you say that the fashion business has radically changed today from the time you started? Of course, there's a demand for good design, there's a demand for good quality, These are the aspects of a business which will never change. But the entire way the business is done, the D2C model for instance, there is so much clutter out there. How has Biba adapted to that?
Well, it's becoming more challenging for sure, because there is so much competition now. So you have to stay ahead of it. You have to keep improving. You have to, up your game. That's the only way to stay ahead. Unless you keep improving, keep thinking of new innovations, new ideas, staying ahead with the technology, staying ahead with the trends, with the colors, executing them fast enough. So all these are internal changes which you keep needing to do to stay in the game. So I think one main advantage of Biba is that any age group of women can walk into Biba and buy something. From a 3-year-old girl to a 80-year-old, even 85-year-old will find something or the other to buy. Very few brands have been able to have that wide spectrum of choices.
You did mention that going global is an aspiration for Biba. In fact, you do have stores in Singapore, London.
UAE.
What's the UAE?
Yeah.
What's
and
the
now
game
we
plan?
have in the US also.
Yes.
New Jersey.
What's on the cards for global expansion?
Well, whenever we find an opportunity, we'll take it. We want to expand globally, definitely. My aspiration is for Biba to become a large global brand, one of the first Indian brands. I'll be very happy. So we are going slow, but we have to see where the market is for Indian clothes and take the things as they come. But definitely we want to grow.
Last 4-5 years, we've seen a trend where corporate houses are investing in fashion companies. Masaba is an example that comes to mind, Sabyasachi, Manish Malhotra, and I can take several other names. Would Biba walk this route?
Well, we'll have to see when the opportunity arises. As of now, I haven't really thought much about it. But yes, if the opportunity arises, there's always a first time.
Yes.
So one should never say no. I don't know what the future will hold.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But right now, we are happy with Warburg. As in when they exit, we'll see what our options are at that point.
What are some important things, Meena, you've learned from life? I remember you once saying that there were questions and reservations about the way you wanted to live your life.
I think one shouldn't worry about people's opinion. At the time when I started, the idea of a wife living separately from the husband just to pursue her work was totally not looked upon as normal. So I was living in Bombay. My husband was transferred to Visakhapatnam, Delhi, wherever his job took him. And a lot of people felt it very odd that the wife is living somewhere, husband somewhere, what is happening. My approach was that it's none of their business. I'm happy, he's happy, I'm looking after the house, I'm taking care of the children, I'm earning money, it's improving the life of the whole family. So why should anyone else bother? But yeah, there was a lot of, under the surface, like my husband's staff only. He was chairman of a big company in Visakhapatnam. So whenever I went there, they would very diplomatically say that, ma'am, why don't you close? What are you doing in Bombay? Life here is so good, and we can't understand you wanting to run some salwar kameez business. So, that was the idea. They would
Have you met them recently? Do they have the same things to say?
No, I haven't met them, unfortunately, no. But yeah, they had a lot of disapproval. So probably they didn't understand, but yes, it was silent disapproval, but you have to ignore it. And now I think things have changed. I don't know how many men will be happy with the idea of their wife living in a different city and pursuing. So that was, I must give credit to my husband also. In fact, a lot of people used to tell me, your husband is allowing you. So I said, allowing? What do you mean allowing? I didn't like the word. I am also working hard. I am contributing to the family. So somehow women's contribution was not so important as a man's. No one talked about it. That's one thing I felt that I should have got more brownie points from people around me, you know. But somehow women was looked down upon as that it was considered an indulgence, that she's only worried about her work.
But here you are, you've built a legacy business, your sons will take it forward, maybe your grandchildren as well, and you will be the matriarch.
Now, yes, reaching this stage, so I would advise women who want to chart their own path not to worry at all about all these, because in the end they are not worth bothering about. It's your own intention and your own conviction which should take you forward, and you should be very sure of being able to achieve what you want. I think every woman has the potential. Now, I had nothing going for me. I had no money, no experience, wrong age, so nothing was really going for me. But I still went ahead with good results. So I'm
Good
sure
results is an understatement.
No, so I'm sure other women can do much better.
On that very positive and inspiring note, we'll end the conversation. Thank you so much, Meena, for having us here at your beautiful home and speaking with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha, for this chat. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.